think I've stumbled across a new school of Xbox detractors, and to be honest, once in a while when we have a slow news cycle, uh, these folk are very important to the health of the channel. Okay, I'm not being facetious. Okay, I'm actually serious. It's just funny because they'll say some of the most interesting claims, and I don't want to show this person's name, but you've got to trust me, bro, on this one, okay? Because you've heard a comment like this before, okay? Now, the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mention one of our audience members who replied to them. That's your verification, okay? So Ninja Scroll 30, shout out to you. I'm gonna be putting you on, on front and center of this video because you're the one who responded to this person. Okay? So I made this video saying Black Myth Wukong is coming to Game Pass. It's not like I'm the first person to actually have said it. The developers and Xbox themselves, they presented this to us in the showcases. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's in a day. You can pre-install. It's going to be on Xbox. It's not Play Anywhere. We're talking about the intricacies. We're talking about the performance metrics, and so on and so forth, right? Then I see a comment. Believe you me, you can probably finish this comment. The comment goes, Xbox Game Pass is total. Hey, you see, you did it. You in your brain, you finished that statement. Then they said Microsoft has conditioned Xbox players not to buy games. Look how that has turned out. And we're like, how did that turn out? Because even the PlayStation platform, where people claim to want to tout that they buy games, we constantly keep seeing that these PlayStation games or even single player games find it hard to actually crack into the top 15. Whereas on the Xbox side, the games that go on Game Pass are getting regular playtime, they're getting regular attention, regular love. Look at Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 3 and 4. It looks like somebody played it, right? Where is Death Stranding 2? If you guys also love buying your games that you claim that you also love buying. So Ninja Scroll 30, that's our audience member, comes in and says, another doubter, another rival fan who pines for such a service, value, variety, and day one games. Then this person replied and said, I have an Xbox as well as a PS5 Pro and a Switch One. I canceled Game Pass as I have so many great games to play, like Silent Hill 2 Remake, Astro Bot, Spider-Man 2, The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, and 2 and 1 and 2, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, RT7, God of War, Horizon 1 and 2, etc. Last time I checked, none of those games listed are on Game Pass. Oh, Forza Horizon 5 Doom, TDA run great on the PS5 Pro. I buy my games. They then made a third comment. I buy my games on physical disc with up to 90% saving over digital. Isn't this interesting, though, that this person comes to brag about, Game Pass is conditioning people not to buy games, yet they're bragging as to how they buy their games at a heavy 90% discount. They actually did say that. 90% savings over digital. I'm not going to show you their name, but here it is. Let me give you a glance of the comment. With up to 90% savings over digital. So this person who is leveraging reduced cost in playing their games is attempting to slander you for leveraging reduced cost in playing your games. Ain't that something? You see, what's going to happen is a lot of these people have taken a belief system and a stance, right? I don't like Game Pass. Not because you can't afford it, not because it's too expensive or whatever it is, but you feel that you own your games, which you don't. Ask Ubisoft, they want you to destroy your disc and some other companies in their, user agreements. Because were they to actually litigate that, you would be required to destroy those discs. I see many of you packing discs and physical items all over the place that are worth nothing, by the way, because they have depreciated to nothing in value. In fact, if you have to have one, and many of you need to learn the other fool's theory in economics, it's where you need another sucker to go ahead and basically ensure that your item is valuable. It's actually called the greater fool theory. Let me Wikipedia it for you guys so that y'all can see. Because you see, I'm of the mind that personal financial literacy is paramount for gamers as much or even more than any other demographic that I've seen in the last few years. The greater fool theory in finance suggests that one can sometimes make money through speculation on overvalued assets, items with a purchase price drastically exceeding the intrinsic value, if those assets can later be resold at an even higher price. In this context, one lesser fool, in quote, might pay for an overpriced asset, hoping that they can sell it to an even greater fool and make a profit. This only works as long as there are enough new greater fools willing to pay higher and higher prices for the asset. Eventually, investors can no longer deny that the price is out of touch with reality, at which point a sell-off can cause price to drop significantly until it's closer to its fair value, which in some cases could be zero. The last fools to purchase in on that product in question are then left holding the bag, allowing earlier lesser fools to make off with the profit. I just don't see how you don't buy games, you instead subscribe is a flex. There is no world where that is a flex. The flex is that you keep money in your pocket, because the measure of having money is actually having money and mathematically being capable of showing that you have more money than you spend. Is that not the principle? If that is the principle, even you yourself proved it to us with you buying physical games at up to a 90% discount. But don't be fooled. Their inherent value is also just as useless as the digital game, because it's only to you sitting on the top shelf that it appeals to. If you got the physical games, I'm not attacking you. I'm just, pointing out that notion. I know some people are like, oh, ouch. I'm just saying it's for your own personal delight. Oh, yeah, but I can sell my games because I have some copies of games that are blah, 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 blah. Okay, sure. But in a pool of games, so many, so frequent in release, so abundant, being given away for free, how much do you think, in terms of sway, that you can appeal to people to pay top dollar for any of those copies of those games? I remember working at GameStop one holiday. This person came in to trade in a bunch of these games, and the system, right, has a saturation point. Believe you me. They brought in all these games to trade in, and the clerk scanned it all, and at some point she could not take any more copies of Uncharted 4, the physical copy. Do you know what the irony of that situation was and what it taught me? That same GameStop, I had pre-ordered Uncharted 4 from that GameStop 5 years earlier. And they would not even take more than a certain amount because their system had already said, no, this is how many Uncharted 4s you can trade in. If my recollection is correct, I remember her saying we have to just discard all these games because it just got to the point where the system was like, it's pointless. And so I'm not making this stuff up. I'm pointing out an economic reality. And as much as the slander continues to come, I think it continues to expose a fundamental belief system that is predicated on missing information and, I think, an abject, purposeful lack, of acknowledging reality. That's what it is. I'm out. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks for watching. And if you have physical games, again, like I said, I have physical copies of games too that, it's nice to hang on to because you can't play them. And I'm not going after your physical copy of games. I'm just pointing out that anybody who would say they have physical copies of games and slander somebody that uses Gamepass or any other subscription, I think that the hypocrisy is lost on them. That's all I'm trying to say before somebody jumps on me in the comment section. Peace out.